Michelle, this year there was the introduction of a new idea or a new concept, and that is dealing with sports. Tell me a little bit about that.
Following the summit last year in 2021, one of the keynote speakers was the United Nations Special Advisor on Genocide Prevention, Alice Indiritu, and she was a keynote speaker, and following the summit, she reached out to the summit leadership and shared with us an action plan that the United Nations began 2 years prior to that was to fight hate speech. And they had reached out to religious leaders around the world after they drafted this plan of action on hate speech, and they rolled it out among the faith community. And she came to Pittsburgh, Alice came to Pittsburgh, and noticed how important sports was in Pittsburgh, especially the Steelers, and how much of a role sports plays in our community, and wondered if we had any contacts in the sports community that could maybe take this initiative around the world on the platform of sports.
What is the initiative exactly? How is dealing with sports teams going to help the issue of hate-fueled extremism?
So obviously the platform of sports is a huge platform. In the United States, it is football and baseball and hockey, but around the world, there's soccer and rugby and other types of sports. And they have such large fan bases that it's such an opportunity to reach people of different backgrounds and different beliefs. Sports tends to bring people together. Whether you have different religions or different ethnicities or faiths, it's a way to bring people together. So it's a strong platform to engage. And what is so wonderful is a lot of these teams and leagues of these different sports already engage in several platforms similar to fighting hate speech.
Is the concept that they will reach some of the people who might otherwise be induced into that world of extremism?
Sports reaches so many people, and I think the ability to that diversity of people among the fan bases in sports allows you to reach so many different groups. I mean, at the summit here, we're hearing about the backgrounds of people that commit these atrocities and these mass shootings. And I think any way, my feeling is any way to reach these people, you're never going to get everybody, but I think sports provides a great opportunity to reach more people.
Are there indications at this stage that the professional sports leagues are behind this effort?
We have had the ability to reach out to the NFL, the NHL, MLB, Major League Soccer, UFC, NASCAR, and the interest and support for this initiative to work with the United Nations to fight hate speech has been overwhelming. And we will continue to work on a draft or on a plan of action to fight hate speech, and then the United Nations hopes to roll it out December 9th.
On a global level?
Exactly.
What will success look like with this initiative?
So success to me would look like when we got everybody into the room to meet in person. We have met via Zoom, but when we got everybody in a room the day before the summit to meet, I knew that in football alone, every team's fan base and every team handles different issues in a different way. And so when you now bring in different sports and what they do to combat hate, to fight racism, to support LGBTQ initiatives, it's going to look different for every team. But what we intend to do in this plan of action is to give a menu of options for teams to do, whether it be a fan code of conduct, whether it be an employee code of conduct, whether it be so many teams and so many athletes already speak out on this issue. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be an amazing thing to cross leagues and cross teams of different athletes, and it would just show strength in numbers in order to show the importance of fighting hate speech.
Have you been hit? Has there been pushback in the sense that, hey, it's sports, we don't want to get involved in this sort of thing, we're in a different realm?
There has not been pushback from the sports teams at all, or the leagues, I should say, because we created this group and we really wanted to start on the league level. The only teams that we have reached out to at this point are the Pittsburgh teams, obviously because of the Tree of Life incident, and then the Buffalo shooting, the Sabres, the Buffalo Bills, the Pakula Sports Groups that owns those teams has come in at 100% to support this initiative. And so we are working with the leagues. There's no pushback at all. I mean, there's just support. We discuss sometimes that one example is in the room. Sometimes people or fans will say to the players, like, we don't care what your feelings are on certain issues. We're paying you to, or we're coming to these events to see you play sports. But I think it's so important that those people have voices too, the athletes, and they should be heard. And young kids that are growing up to hear that bullying is wrong and hear that racism and anti-Semitism are wrong, I think those players are great role models.
Best of luck with the initiative, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Michele.
Thank you.